Supposedly we're live now. Apologies for the wait. Thank you all for being here. My name is Derek, and with me is the incredible...
Hey, I'm Larry, and I'm trying to, I'm trying to turn on my, oh, it's over here. I remember my first day doing a live stream.
Yeah, it was a great first day.
Yeah, I've got a phone, 2 PCs, and a Bravia 9, and I'm like, I hear music, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. So
Come on, man.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So thank you all for being here. If you have, I see a lot of familiar people. If you have not joined us before, here's what we're doing. Every month, Larry and I do a live show, Sony After Hours support. With the whole purpose is just to kind of talk to fans and customers like yourselves. Thank you for being here. About really whatever we're going to talk about. Any ways that we can hopefully support, answer any questions. We don't know everything, but we will definitely share any concerns and questions that we don't have answers to with the smarter people. I can't say they're upstairs right now because we're not at HQ right now. So this is extra. We call it extra sauce. Sony After Hours support. We think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of clever. But yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. We really don't have an agenda aside from talking to you. So thank you all for being here. Let's address a couple of the questions. The first one I want to answer, and Will, hang on a moment, okay? I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions that Larry will be happy to answer. But there was a question from Scott Young. Hi, hello. I don't imagine you'll be able to answer seeing as your US support, but I'll try anyway. Any idea when the A95L firmware will be dropping in the UK and the EU? I don't have an answer, but we have been getting some of those questions, and it is kind of cool for us to kind of see that. And we are sharing with Sony Europe that, you know, these are questions coming in. The answer that I got is they are currently working on it. We'll see what happens at this point. So, yeah. Ooh, I think was I changing there, John? What was that? I don't know. People saw. Looked like you were cutting off the top of my head. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer. I do know that things are being worked on. Oh, my camera's shaky. So we'll let you know what we hear, but most likely what'll happen is the update will come out and we'll hear about it after is probably what's going to happen because we're not really in their communication loop, but fair question. Yep. And hopefully it's soon. Let's see.
Yep.
Who's going to be going to CES in January? I'm still thinking of going. Larry and I will be there. If you are out there, please stop by the Sony booth for Sony first. And then if you happen to catch us, make sure you please say hello. I don't even know what we're doing yet, aside from going. I just booked my flight. Larry's not going to book it for like another couple weeks, I bet.
I'm sitting here. That's that's exactly what I was laughing. I'm like, oh yeah, I should be booking that soon. We'll get to it. Yeah. Okay. John just whispered in my ear, yes, please.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Get it done. Get it done. Those flights are going to fill up quick. You know that, right? It's kind of a popular show. Just saying.
Yeah, Lucas, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, Luke is here with us. Welcome back. Good to have you back.
What's up, Luca?
Andrew has an alt t-shirt. Oh, can I have one? I don't know. Maybe email Larry about that one.
Well played, Derek. Okay, that was good.
I had to. I can't promise anything, but you know what? Send us an email, and we'll see what can happen. Let's see. Where are we at here? Let's see. Will, hi guys. Love that you do these extra shows for us. Big thanks to Sony for the recent A95L firmware. It fixes so many things. New features really improved the TV. Huge thanks. Well, you're welcome on behalf of Sony and the smarter people that can actually do that stuff for you. So I'm glad that it happened. It's definitely something that was really big. So those of you who are not familiar with the update, there's a lot of nice changes for picture quality, performance, additional features that were just recently added in the last week. I feel like I'm talking too much. Larry, how are you?
Yeah. Hi.
We haven't even talked yet today, aside from like the 5 minutes before this.
I know. Was it 5 minutes or 2 minutes? It was 5 minutes. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, and as far as A95L, look, for me, I got to tell you, as soon as we got the word that was happening, I had I think you and I both had this collective sigh of relief because we were confident all along, but we had sort of put ourselves out there as being a little bit of the Sony version of the face and voice of this with all of the information that you guys have given us and communicating it back to the engineers, kind of with all your great examples, so on and so forth. I am very much glad the heat and pressure is minimized a little bit with respect to that firmware update, being able to deliver those things. So that
Hmm.
was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ty Townsend, welcome. Thanks for joining us. He loves your shirt, Larry. You always rocking some. I just got a polo. That's it. I don't have
Bro,
a fancy
what's
t-shirt.
here's what's funny. I think like I've done end zone shirts, I've done alpha shirts, I've done a PlayStation shirt. The minute I put on the alt shirt, it gets a ton of attention. Like, let
That
me
one
figure out what
does. Yeah.
it's this. It's the color, right? Yeah. So it must be the what's the term? The dichroic
Oh.
on the actual product.
Hmm.
It's dichroic, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Some whatever the type.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It's kind of an interesting thing to learn, I guess.
Yeah. There you go.
Heaven
Hey
Aaliyah.
Ty,
Oh,
send Derek a message, Ty, and he'll send you a shirt.
make
Send him an
sure
email.
make sure you CC Larry on there too. Yeah. That's fair. Heaven Aaliyah, good to have you back as well. I am great. Larry, are you great? Are you good?
I'm actually doing spectacular. This is the
Oh.
least amount of stress I've felt in a work week so far. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
this is one of those weird things of like I, we don't have a plan. We're just gonna be here and just talk. And honestly, already we're literally
Yeah.
just filling time just talking to everybody. So thank you so much. I appreciate everybody being here. This is so cool.
Well,
Luca, you're
I
gonna be
have a
back to see.
question.
Yes, awesome. Yeah.
I have a question, and this is something I don't know if you guys have caught this, but we're doing a series of Sony Simplifieds that
Hmm.
happen every week. Is it twice a week? Every week? How often are we doing them now?
Once a week for now. Be
Once a
more
week for
soon.
now,
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. So that would mean that there's one today, right? So 4
Mm-hmm.
p.m.
Couple
Pacific
hours.
today. Yeah.
Yep.
So here's one of the things that we're doing. Like we have this incredible calendar of different things that we want to talk about, and the simplified show is basically a short format or a semi-short format how-to show. So of course, simple things like how to connect your Bluetooth earbuds to a cell phone device, but do you know how to utilize the Find My Device feature should you misplace an earbud? Like Derek is walking around missing
Mm-hmm.
an earbud right now. But that's what the show is about. But one of the things that Derek and I can help that team with is ideas or products that you would like to see us focus on or share. And we can give some great ideas of some simple, hey, we'd like to know more about how to do this on a product, or this would be cool to know a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more about this product. So, anyway, hop in
Yeah.
the chat, let us know if there's something, and yeah, we'll get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I recently, that little project kind of handed off to another coworker to kind of help plan that out, but I'm still very much involved in sort of building out topics. So please let us know. And we are going to be expanding it as time goes on, do a whole bunch more. So cool. All right, we got some questions we got to catch up
Okay,
on.
let's go.
This is
Let's do
6 minutes late on some of these now that I can see the timestamps. Jesus
it.
has a question. Ooh, I have a question. Do you know how many headphones you can pair to a TV? Is it possible to have two headphones paired? So technically speaking, when it comes to like normal Bluetooth connections, get messages about this the topics right now. I'm gonna mute that. How ironic. Let me change this. Do not disturb.
we
So
always knew that our work PCs were bugged, but anyway, that's just proof.
yeah, I know. But that's a great question, and I know a lot of people are looking for a good answer to that. Typically, it's going to be one. It does depend on the device or the TV, I guess I should say. There are some third-party devices out there that will allow you to do multiple devices, but from what we offer, it's one-to-one pairing. The exception is going to be, it's not really headphones, but Theater U, which is awesome. Look at that. Look at how nicely that just right around my head. Anyway, Theater U can be paired up to Bravia 789 A95L, and then you can also
Mhm.
pair up a second one directly for incredible sound. You can also do regular Bluetooth pairing to many of our other TVs as well with stereo pairing, which is the term sort of to connect a
Mhm.
second Theater U. So two people could be using these at the same time. It's not quite the same as headphones, but the way I look at it, one of the big benefits is unless your intent is to really seclude yourself, you can still be involved with kind of talking to other people while you're enjoying whatever you're watching. So
Right.
it's a little bit of
Right.
a different way to do it, but can be done.
Right. I hear great things about the Theater U.
It's awesome. I believe it was, what was it called? It was in the top.
Can we say it? Yeah, we're gonna say it. Say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
We could say it. Say it, Larry.
Okay, I'll say it. It
Yeah. Oh. He has been officially censored. Oh my gosh, the timing could not have been better on that. Okay, well, welcome to my show without Larry, as he probably didn't plug something in. So womp womp. Larry learned his lesson. So I'm going to double check exactly the verbatim, but it was as he was going to say. Time Magazine, Theater U was actually one of their top inventions of the year. I'm not going to find which one. I don't know how many they do, but yeah. So it's absolutely a fantastic option for getting personalized audio. Check it out if that's something that's interested. And I would add too, it doesn't have to be connected to a TV. So it could be connected to a tablet or laptop or something like that as well. I was actually going to try to use it for this little live as a test. Next week though, I will. All right, let me try to catch up on some of the things and see if Larry comes back, because otherwise you guys are going to be so sick of me real quick. Well, I'll do my best. DS. Ooh, this is gonna probably be a tough question. Let's see. Another one from the quad community. Uh-oh. Does Sony recommend a sweet spot for the distance between the speakers and any limitations on not going over a certain distance? Oh, that's a question for Larry, because he has personal experience with using it. I have seen some feedback where it's not that there's like a sweet spot, but there is a limit to how close and to how far you can go with it. I don't have specific measurements, but for most people, it's in most people's rooms, they're not going to be like 20 feet apart. But my understanding from an email that I got is that it will actually tell you that it's having issues calibrating based on the distance. So I'll have to look and see if there is like a number that we could put to that. But oh, Larry might be coming back. There he is. Huh.
back like I never left.
Yeah. Well, I had to steal your thunder, but honestly, the timing of that could not have been better. It was pretty amazing. So I want to catch up on a lot of these. So let's keep going here. Let's see. But yeah, DS, I will definitely try to get a good answer for you if there's some sort of specific number for that. Scott Young, yeah, thank you for the response. No worries. But yeah, if any of you here that the release in Europe or the EU has come out for the TV, let us know, because I'm still getting a lot of questions for it, and I would like to be able to answer that as best as I can.
Shout out to FOMO. Did I miss the shout out to FOMO when I was?
I haven't even gotten to that point yet, but
oh my bad.
Yep, there he is, eating lunch as I listen to it. Good to have you here. Welcome.
Yeah, what are you having for lunch, FOMO? I'm curious if I can, be so nosy.
That'd be good. Yeah, you're putting him on the spot. He'll probably respond. He's good like that. He's a great guy. All right. So while we're waiting for that, Will's got some questions for you, Larry. So here you go.
Oh wow, thank you. All right.
He's gonna be good like that. The ABSL on the A95 is aggressive and triggers very quickly, ruining sports. Interesting. Yes, you can mitigate it by turning down PL, but you are just then making it darker to start. Will Sony ever lighten up? I like how you phrased that at the end. That was clever. I don't watch sports, so I've not experienced that myself. It followed it up. The algorithm.
Derek, whoa.
What?
Did you throw an A95 question my way, and you're the one with an A95?
Yes, I did. Of course. TV trainer.
Well, just like Theater U, I don't have an A95L either. So
I will answer Theater U questions. No worries.
Wow, because you have a Theater U. No, that's a great question. I'm not sure. From using the description aggressive, I think this is the first time I've heard it characterized that way. So, Will, I want to apologize for that. I cannot, and I know FOMO's in the chat. Most of the sports I've been watching, even on the Bravia 9, has been on Prime Video streaming service, just because I've been really diving deep into Prime Video calibrated mode and testing that as frequently as possible. Everything from some random live camera of a tennis tournament that seems like it never ends, all the way to a professional football. But A95L I can't speak to, so Derek would have to take this one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've experienced it. And it's kind of hard to kind of say, give us a specific recommendation because you did kind of give us a direction to go. So maybe I'll have to look into it. I will. We can reach out to Trey to kind of get his feedback on it as well.
Yeah.
I would say this, that any sort of concerns or things that come up, like even if this is a one-off, based on what I gather of you, Will, you're pretty well read in the tech and understanding. So I believe that it's not something that's just your personal opinion on it, but that matters. So whatever the case may be, we'll definitely share that with the important people that can kind of look into it, try to recreate it and see if this is something that's one-off or is something to look into. So we'll definitely share that concern, and hopefully I can get an answer for you in the not so distant future for sure. But man, I knew you were going to have some tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it though. That's really what we're here for. Hang on, I hid my window here. I got to shrink this down. So, I closed it. Well, all right. I'll start that again later. So, Christopher Thomas has a question. Bravia 7, HDMI 2.1. Is it 48 gigabits per second? They're 48 on those two HDMI 2.1
Yes.
ports. I thought so. Yes. Yeah, that's right. We always had been, right? We didn't run 40.
Yes, we didn't do 40. We always did 48.
Cool. Awesome. Good. Nice, quick answer. All right. Let's see.
I know that's rare. For me. I'm sorry.
No, it is, but that's okay. So it creates that balance, You've got the style in that. Everybody loves Larry look, and I'll just be here to talk and fill in the space. No. Let's see. Good question here. A very common question. Heaven Aaliyah, I heard a lot about burning on OLED. What causes it and how can you stop it from happening? And there were some good responses in there that I did see as well. I think from Luca, yeah, you had a pretty good response in there. But ultimately, for those that didn't see it, is the OLED pixel, because it's an actual pixel that's emitting this light, they're not really designed to handle the temperature and the power that's put into them to be super bright, which ultimately can lead to them degrading over time. The good news is that there's a lot of technologies that are out there to help mitigate that. It isn't as common, and if you do vary your content quite often, it's usually not something to really be concerned about. But not to say it doesn't happen, because it can happen. But like Lucas said, really, really bright static images that just sit there like a sports ticker, news ticker, or something at the bottom that's just on all the time, high brightness, it's not a good idea to do that. But generally, people are going to be okay. Sony does offer pixel shift, which actually kind of shifts the pixels around so they're not necessarily as static as they might be on some other ones, to help minimize that from happening. Did I miss anything on that, Larry?
Yes, a couple of things. Do not disable your auto screensaver. That's also another preventative measure that's put into place. And here's a fun fact nugget for you. When you are turning TV on or off, or power cycling your TV, like it's end of the day and you're turning it off, it's advised to use the actual Sony remote to turn it off. When you power off the television utilizing, let's say, a voice assistant, for example, it doesn't trigger the overnight panel refresh that's built in. So each of our OLEDs have a sort of a timer clock in the processor that's always, I guess you could say, monitoring the health of the panel. But when it does, it's when there's an X number of time, it differs on model, differs on screen side. But when there's an X amount of time that the TV has been turned off via the remote, it will trigger that panel refresh that will help heal, if you will, and preserve the integrity of the panel. So that's just another thing that we don't really talk about, but that's recommended.
Yeah, very important stuff. And if you do vary your content, you're not cranking up to maximum, it should last you plenty long enough. I still have the A1E, the first Sony OLED that came out, and I have had no issues with that. Unfortunately, it's still just sitting there unused now that I have the A95L, but I don't know what to do with it because I feel bad about getting rid of it because it's still perfect. Oh, well, what are you going to do? There was another question here. Let's see. Team Sesh Bones, you guys enjoying the PS5 Pro? I love mine. Glad to hear that you are. I have not gotten one yet. I don't have as much time to game, so I just. What, Larry? What?
I'm just laughing. Sorry. I'm just laughing because you're the gamer and I'm not.
True.
And I know there's like early adopters and I don't know what they call late bloomers. I don't know. But dude, you were so late on getting Gen 1 PS5.
I know that's part of
Like,
why I'm kind of like,
right.
man, having a kid is great, but it takes away some of my free time. So I just don't have it like I used to. But yeah, someday. I do have the regular PS5, and I do love that. But yeah, hopefully you can enjoy that one on behalf of both of us. So awesome. Malcolm says, thanks for getting back to me on my questions. Appreciate it. No worries. I know we still owe you one, but I don't have an answer for it yet. But hopefully you were able to find. I remember I sent you to kind of look towards support to get that stuff taken care of. So hopefully you did. That was kind of the response from the PlayStation guy. So hopefully you're all good. If not, let us know. Let's see. Do Sony TVs give you the ability to relocate the captions to the top of the screen instead? If not, might that feature be arrived in the future? I actually don't know. I kind of want to find out. Again, so I don't turn off everything. I'm going to look at that really quick. Larry, you want to take the next question? What do we got?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw one I wanted to answer. I can't find it, but there it is. Khaled says, any plans on releasing the smart home side panel in Google TV UI, just like the new Google streamer, so on and so forth? Yes. Yes.
How interesting of a question that is.
That's a great question. I don't know what it's officially called. I know what we kind of internally called it. Yes. The situation regarding that. So first of all, if you guys don't know about that, the Google side panel, basically what the Google TV UI is doing from an interface standpoint is it's sort of integrating a light version of the Google Home that you would find on your mobile device onto the TV. So you can open up the side panel and you can make adjustments to all your IoT devices that are supported by Google. That's adjusting the temperature on your air conditioning units. That's seeing a quick snapshot of your cameras, lights, all kind of stuff you can have there. That's coming soon. Sony doesn't own the prioritization of that rollout. We've announced that we are supporting it and it is coming to our devices. We're trying to get an idea of how far back our devices are going to be supported. We all are kind of theorizing, so I don't want to state this as any fact. But for those of you all that are heavy into the know with the operating systems, some of our legacy TVs have Android TV or what's branded as Android TV operating system, and then some have Google TV operating system. An easy indicator is the streaming app icons are circles, not squares. If your TV has circles, you can pretty much expect that you will get that Google Home interface. But along with that, there's an AI generated screensaver that you can type in some crazy fun stuff in and it'll generate an image, and that can be your screensaver. But also, finally, a full integration of Google Nest products such as the doorbell, where while you're watching a program, someone rings the doorbell, uninterrupting your show, it'll pop up a window where you can see a live view of who's at your front door, things of that nature. So rollout is happening. We don't know the schedule. Every day I'm restarting my TV praying that it's there, and it is not there yet, but soon. Soon.
That's awesome.
Ronan, can you send me a TV that has it on there since you have it? I'll trade you a T-shirt for a TV that has that. How about that?
No car wash involved. No car wash needed, Ronan. There you go. That's a good trade there.
There we go.
All right. So let's see. Oh, did we lose Larry again? Plug in your camera. I don't know what he's doing. Amateur hour over here, but we'll keep him anyway. Let's see. All right, address a couple things. So to answer the question about the captions, so currently it is not available. I did double check here that as far as like where you can place it. There's some pretty cool options that you can adjust based on if you're doing it for streaming apps or cable, but something that we could definitely recommend in the future to see what they say. Hardcore Magnanimous Gentleman, I love the name. Good day to you, gentlemen. Good day to you as well. How's it going? Great. I really want one feature back on PS5 Pro, and I'm not sure if you guys can help out with that. LOL. Yeah, LOL is good. So we actually don't work on the PlayStation side. However, we do work within Sony, and I do have a contact that I can reach out to. He's sort of like us, where we're product trainers. So we don't really have a lot of power. However, we do know some people. So yeah, I mean, if you got something, best if you send me an email. That's pinned in the comments. So send us an email. Let us know what you're looking for. I make no promises, but I can promise I will at least share that with the people that might be able to do something about it. Luca did say, I need to stop answering questions, not your job. Well, you're not wrong, but we very much appreciate it. And I do want to send a special shout out to those of you who are part of the community forum. You guys are awesome in supporting us, and it's been great. I know I don't directly work with many of you, but having that extra feedback and support from you guys is amazing. So thank you all. We very much do appreciate it. Let's see, Malcolm would love to see a quick description video showcasing the different series of headphones and who should buy which. Wish you asked that like a month ago, because that would be great for the holidays. Oh man, okay. I'm gonna make note of that. But that is a great idea, because we do have a lot of options, especially now with the Link Buds Open, Link Buds Fit, which I'm using now, which is very convenient because yeah, I don't know where one of my Link Buds S buds went. I have no idea how that's possible because I've never lost one before. So got these just in time, which is good, but great suggestion. Make a quick note of that. Yeah, buyer's guide. We should do that for every category. Too much to do. Too little time. All right. Let's see. Let's catch up on some things. I apologize if we are behind. Let's see. Tech talks about A95 dims in game mode, even when using the same settings as regular viewing. Increase the brightness in game mode. Interesting, because that's predominantly what I do on the A95L is gaming. It works for me because I'm just strictly using bias lighting. So I guess I have it down to, I think, brightness of maybe 20 or something like that. And I am in game mode. I'll switch between FPS mode or standard, which I did just some minor tweaks to those different modes. That looks great to me, but that's interesting. I will have to look into that. AAZZZ, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a minute. With a quad HD A9, it's advertised to be placed anywhere. I'm sure there's an ideal placement which can provide the best experience, which would be nice to have. That question did come up earlier. Interesting. I don't know if you were here for that. That is something I'm going to look into. Oh, Larry's coming back, maybe. Just in time. But before we get back to you, Larry, more important people, which are right here. So I'll definitely look into that to see if we can share that, but it is designed to be customized for your space. Larry, actually, you know what? I'll allow you to be part of this. I'll let you.
Sure.
You blessed us with your presence. Good. There's. I think it looks okay.
Oh, it is overexposed. Look, hold on. Okay. I can take care of that. All right. Well, because I have the Creators app. But go ahead,
Larry. There are people. The people are waiting. Okay.
Okay. I'm listening.
Okay. So twice this has been brought up as far as like an ideal setup for the quad in terms of like space and distance, not only for seating area, but also, you know, how much is too close and how far is too far. I don't know if there's numbers for that.
There's no official numbers on that, but from a psychoacoustics, if you guys are playing technology bingo out there, from a psychoacoustic standpoint, obviously the further you separate, let's just say front left, front right, the more you're depending on the sound processing to create that center. The closer they're in, obviously the better. Now, what I will say, and there you go, John, one click. Okay. What I will say is, for me, the sweet spot has been between, I'm just talking about the fronts right now, front left and front right. I have them separated about 8 feet apart. Now, with that being said, I am also using acoustic center sync on the Bravia 9, providing me an actual center channel positioned in the center. When I've tested it without using the Bravia 9, 6 feet, 6 to 8 feet has still been the comfortable spot for me. I can go 8 to 10. Sorry if I'm confusing you guys. I can go 8 to 10 feet comfortably with the center channel. 6 to 8 feet is where I'm comfortable without the center channel. Now, front to rear distance, mine are about 15 feet separated, but it's more about how the sound is processed based upon the listener's position. And I know we mention this every time we talk about the quad and we talk about the Bravia Connect app. It does calibrate the audio experience utilizing your primary listener position. So front and rear, those sound decibel levels, placement of audio, all of that is all calibrated based upon where you're sitting. The only nugget I will give you, and this has come up in an email, if you have a configuration where, let's say, your seated position is completely up against the back wall and you have quads behind you, the question has been, is it better to mount the quads on the side wall, on the back wall facing forward, or on the two side walls facing towards the listener? I have been told by our product team that even if the quads are directly against the wall and your seated positions against the wall, you want to have the quads mounted on the back wall facing forward. That is the ideal configuration. So hopefully I've killed two birds with one stone with that one. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, yeah. And actually, I should have just read FOMO had a good, very succinct response to kind of help with the first part of
Yep.
it. So shout out. Yeah, I'm sorry, FOMO. I'm not really getting ahead. I'm a little bit behind. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. That said, I'm going to say it now because this often gets us into trouble, but we need to start wrapping up because normally we aim to do half an hour, but we do love doing this. And,
Mhm.
we're letting other people handle the call that we're supposed to be on right now, so that's okay. But got canceled. Okay, well, now it doesn't sound so special, but still, we're going to be here for you all instead. Let's see. So a couple things I just want to catch up on. Let's see. Khaled, any plans on releasing a smart home side panel in Google? Oh, we talked about that, didn't we? You answered that one, right? Okay, I thought so. Okay, cool. Good, good, good. Magnanimous gentleman, I saw it here. So if you didn't send me an email yet, I see what you're looking for, so you don't need to. I did write that down. So thank you so much for your recommendation. Just dropped. Welcome back. Good to have you as well. Finally got my AZ000 ES. So I don't know which one that is, but I hope it's awesome. Complete setup. I wasn't able to use CS5s as height speakers, but just so the community knows, the Sony SSCSE Dolby speakers are a suitable replacement. So yeah, the CS5s, you gotta have a very specific kind of setup if you wanted to use those as that, because you can channel in anything technically, but the physical space and size of the speaker definitely can be a challenge. So yeah, the Dolby Atmos topper speakers with the CSEs will work excellent. I actually have those myself downstairs.
Yep, so do I.
Good stuff.
Yep, definitely.
Well, we all do. 3 for 3. Cool. Let's see. Michael Beckman's got an interesting question here, Larry, for you. In addition to their quantum dot enhanced model, A95L, Bravia 7 and 9, does Sony implement other similar microcrystalline tech on their non-quantum TVs to achieve a similar effect? If so, how? That's quite a question.
That is quite a question.
Where do you want to start with that one?
I don't know where I want to start with that one. Listen, on those non-quantum dot TVs. So right now for the current lineup, we're talking about Bravia 3. Bravia 3 still utilizes triluminos. Triluminos is our color. It's basically our color processor that's powered by the actual X1 processor in there. Now, and I'm trying to remember, Bravia 3 is, that may be going too much in the weeds. That's 8-bit, right? So part of the magic, and a lot of manufacturers do this, is you have a finite number of colors that you can natively create with an 8-bit panel. However, it utilizes dithering. So for those that don't know what dithering is, we know yellow and blue make green. So you start to adjust the different levels, almost like a paint mixer. You start to adjust and adjust the different levels of your primary colors to be able to create all of the colors that may be missing the difference between an 8-bit and a 10-bit panel. It's basically the difference between digital zoom versus optical zoom. Whoa, is that a DI reference there?
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't know if any of
You
that made
okay?
sense, but no, it hurt. that hurt. No, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
DI, digital
digital
imaging.
imaging. Sorry,
Sorry.
DI is an acronym for digital imaging. So camera people
Yeah.
out there. My bad, peeps. Jeez,
Ah,
I'm hilarious.
awesome. Yeah, no, that's a good question. But ultimately, it really kind of comes down to the processing of how Sony is utilizing the hardware that exists and those types
Yep.
of hardware technologies to make it look the best. See you, Larry. Thanks for joining me. Nice to have you here. Yeah, yeah. I guess he's been fired again for the third time in 40 minutes or whatever. But yeah, ultimately, it really comes down to the processing, and that is really what has made Sony so unique. Is currently our XR processing, but we've had multiple variations of that over the years. And how can we best create these colors with the hardware that exists without necessarily relying on having that more expensive technology? But we've been able to do it very competitively. So it's just now an advantage is now with some of these newer panels that have more of this hardware capability, we can do even more with it. So some things that some of the competitors aren't doing, whether they choose to or not, I don't know. But we're looking for that accurate color, that nicely saturated but not oversaturated look. We definitely do it amazingly well, all through processing. Ultimately, let's see. Panel. I saw Pixel Shift. Pixel Shift once a year. Pixel Shift is actually a feature that's on by default. Panel refresh, which I did see called out by Michael, that is one of those things you really only do when you need to, and that's when you actually have some sort of image retention that's staying there for a little bit. Honestly, I think I've used it once on my A1E, and I've not used it on my A95L or my A80K. So yeah, you really don't want to use it unless you have to. Let's see. Um, lots of things here. Trying to catch up here. Big Phil, good to have you here as well. I have an HD A9 with SW5 and noticed that when watching A Quiet Place Part 2, I can't hear the girl's heartbeat inside her head. Is this outside the frequency range of the hardware, or is this a setting issue? Ooh, that is a very specific situation that I have not seen that movie yet, so I can't say. Um, if I assume you're asking because you've experienced it in some other setting, whether it was the theater or on some other audio system. I can't really say, but it should, especially if you have the SW5, because that should get pretty low. And I can't imagine they would master it so low that it wouldn't handle it. That's a very interesting question that I wish I had an answer to. I'll have to see. Let's see if we can have somebody check that out. We'll have to look into that. I wish I had an answer. That's very interesting. I can't imagine that would be the case of it just missing it. Very interesting. I'll have to look at that. Okay. Alex, Dolby Vision on the A95L is still overtracking EOTF curve and has pink-green tint. Sony working on further fixes. Sony is always working on trying to optimize all the picture quality, so we'll definitely share that with them as well, because one update is not always going to fix anything that they're currently working on. Sometimes there are multiple. I don't know the situation on that particularly, but I will say that if there are ever concerns, please share them, and we will share that with them as well, just to see what's going on. Okay, Jay, welcome to the party as well. I see the Bravia 8 has lower input lag than the A95L when it comes to gaming. Is it because the Bravia 8 came out after the L? Most likely the successor to the L will have even lower input lag. Interesting. Oh, he's back? Okay, well, when I see him, there he is again. Camera's at a slightly different angle, but that's okay. Maybe that'll fix the problem. It's cooler that way. So I actually didn't know off the top of my head that Bravia 8 had lower input lag. I'm sure it's probably a pretty small amount. I don't really notice any issues in the A95L myself. As far as why, Larry, what do you think? Do you think, because I never really thought about it this way, input lag being higher on an OLED versus an LED? Do you
What are
think
the two
that's
models?
a thing, or this is
That's a
specifically
good question.
Bravia 8? Oh, so why am I Bravia 8? I was thinking 7. Bravia 8. They're both
Mhm.
OLEDs. Why they might be different? Um, I don't know because I don't actually know what the numbers are. Can you
It's
share what the numbers are if you happen to have that?
yeah.
Oh, I lost that question. Where is
We
that?
know it's
Alex. Here it is.
yeah. I'm not gonna
No,
touch
not
that one.
Alex. Jay. Sorry, Jay.
John, you punched in on me like I was really getting ready to get fired right there. No, I don't know the answer.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
no idea.
would say that, it's likely that whatever the successor happens to be might have less input lag, but I can't really say for sure. I know they're always trying to improve it, but obviously when it comes to delivering a great picture, sometimes there are certain things that are needed in order to make that happen that might introduce tiny bits like 1 or 2 milliseconds. I don't personally, maybe it's just because I'm old, but when people are looking for like 1 millisecond response and can tell the difference between 1 and 10, I'm like, how? That's like half the blink of an eye. That's just weird to me. But
Yeah.
I don't have an issue on the A95L. So, uh, but that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Okay. Let's see. Have the Bravia Quad to SW5. Any chance to add a second subwoofer to the system via software update? That's something we've been sharing is that there have been some people that are looking for the ability to use a second subwoofer. Currently,
Yeah.
it is not something that's in the like available, but in the future, I don't know. Definitely, we'll share that as a recommendation though. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And
You,
Derek, on
you,
the
yeah.
comment about quiet place with that
Mm-hmm.
frequency, I'll test it today. If we and I'm sorry, I could hear you, but I couldn't couldn't see
Got it.
anything because you couldn't see me. If you guys, if you can send an email so we can know who to respond back to with that, that'd be cool. I'll test it
Mm.
today.
Yeah, I think that was Big Phil. Big Phil, if you could send us
Okay.
an email, it's pinned in the
Yeah.
comments. That would be great. Larry can do some
Yeah.
testing on that and see what's up with
Yeah.
that.
And
All right, let's.
it's also right here. It's also right here. Email's right here. Right here.
Oh,
Like my left, this way,
there you
right
go.
there. Right there. Okay.
Oh man. Okay. All right. We got to catch up on a lot of questions here. So we're going to burn through some of these quick because we are going to start wrapping up. But again, if you have extra questions, you can leave those in the comments after the live. You can join us
Mhm.
next week for the live, or you can send us an email as well, and we'll do our best to answer everything we possibly can. Let's see. Ali, yo, do you guys have any updates coming for the 800 Mark II? They're having some issues, multi-layer discs. Ah, I wouldn't count on it. I'm not going to lie, but honestly, I've not heard of
Yeah.
anything either in terms of a newer model or future updates. I really don't know. However, I can definitely share that as well.
Yep.
Cool.
Every time we get a question about Blu-ray players, I feel like I'm starting to put Blu-ray players and Xperia kind of in the same bucket. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Let's
tough.
see. Heavenly, a fun question. What was the Sony Bravia TV that came with the 4 pairs of 3D glasses? And I had that TV and it was awesome.
800K.
I don't know.
John.
There. What did you say, John? So, because they can't hear
Uh,
you, right? Oh, I guess it came with a
that's.
movie or
I
something that
think it was
determines
Alice in
what it is.
Wonderland. Yeah, I think it
Hmm.
was. Oh, was I not supposed to say the title? God, I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
know. We've
fired.
said a whole bunch of things. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, that I think that was before my Sony days, so I'm not actually sure. POC Angel, any news on CES 2025? Any new QD OLEDs coming? The only thing that we can share about CES, everybody's getting really excited,
Yep. Yep. I'm
is
gonna see
that
if I can
Larry and I
time
will
this
be
up with
there.
my
Sorry, I just
camera
shared
is
it.
gonna mess up again. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, we literally know nothing. All I can say, Larry and I will be there. Probably
Okay.
John too, I expect. So he'll be there as well. Yeah, he said yes, confirmed. Yeah. So yeah, but as far as everything else, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing there. So we'll see. Let's see. I had a TV that I'm replacing it with the Bravia 8 because it had a line going across the bottom, but I had it for years, so it's time. Yeah, choosing a good one, so I can't argue with that. Let's see. Tow-in recommendations for the placement of the speakers as well. You had the CS5s, I think that was part of your thing, AAA, Triple Z. I mean, it really kind of depends on the distances. What do they say? Typically, is it 30 degrees for your left and right? Is that what it is? Or
Okay.
is that what that was? Sorry, I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah.
HDA9, got it. Yeah, I mean, you don't really tow those in, right, Larry? That's not really because they're designed to be
They're designed because of
facing
the
each other.
cylinder. Yeah, if
Right.
we're talking about Gen 1, yeah, they don't have to be towed in at all.
Okay. Yeah, so because of the way that they're designed, you'll actually have them facing each direction, front and back, to create those
Yep.
phantom channels around the room.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Khaled, can we use Voice Zoom 3 if we use Bravia TV as a center channel with a Sony ES receiver? Unfortunately not. Do you want to expand on any of that, Larry, as far as like how you can, or what are your options, I guess?
I just wanted to awkwardly nod my head right there. Yes. No.
Okay.
So with ES receivers, the ES receivers have center channel lift up, right, or acoustic center sync. Both of those are designate or designed to try to give you a more robust center channel experience. But the advantages of the center channel on one of the receivers is you can go in and adjust the decibel rate and all. I mean, the decibel levels and all that. You can do some things to kind of tweak sort of the elevation of the voice. It's the purpose of Voice Zoom 3 is because we don't have that individual frequency level control built into the TV. Keep it in mind that Voice Zoom 3 is controlled by the TV but distributed down to our bar 8, bar 9 and quad this year. The receivers give you a little bit more independent frequency based control to give you that experience you're looking for that we get with Voice Zoom 3 on the TV. So I'm not going to say it's the same, but I'm going to say you have a little bit more control, which is why Voice Zoom 3 went to TV because it didn't have the control. Whew.
There you go. That was a lot. I was just scrolling down just to kind of see where we're at as far as questions. I just want to address this one really quick. What would you like to see in a hypothetical new A95L? Oh my gosh, like I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's a good question. I know there's a lot of people that are very into like this super accurate, we hear lots of things, EOTF and all these curves and all that stuff for picture quality. It is a stunning picture already. It has incredible features already. Larry has something. Yes.
I know what I want. Look, listen, let's just first of all,
have
we're
one?
going to go all, wow, I missed that opportunity. But if we're going to go all fantasy land, I'm going to stay out of trouble by just being super crazy. Here's what I would want. I would want 83-inch. I would also want it to have a completely removable back panel. And when the sensors on the four corner recognize that there's no rear panel, it allows us to boost the brightness up to 4,000 nits. So heat can just melt the paint off of the wall behind the TV, not impact the pixels.
Not kill the pixels.
That's what I want. Yes.
I would say that. Yeah, I would say if I was to make like a dream TV, I think most people are probably looking for something that gives you that true zero black, but that can do that 4,000 nits, like accurately across the entire
all of
spectrum line, whatever you want to call it. That would be the dream. No auto, no limiter, none of that stuff. That would be the dream. Gosh, yeah, that would really be it. So I know that's where we're kind of going as time goes. Is mini LEDs are reaching for brightness, which they have way more room and capability, but they're trying to find that sweet spot of how do we get more accurate black level in zone control. OLED kind of has the opposite issue. It's got zone control. It cannot get better than it is. But how do you make it brighter without reducing the lifespan of the pixels and stuff like that? So yeah, it's something in between there would be great. But I'm very happy with it, so I really can't complain. Let's see. All right, let's see. Bass waves from a sub do not propagate out of a sub uniformly. Well, Sony offered type of optimization for sub placement and room on their bars and receivers in the future. So, I mean, we do have sound field optimization, which does factor in the subwoofers. Now, unfortunately, there isn't something that will say based on your room, here is where you should put your subwoofer, because that would require a whole bunch of analysis of the room and distances, even fabric or surface type, I guess is a better way, because hard surfaces will reflect more, but also like corners, because you can get bass traps and all this stuff. So yeah, I don't expect it to be something that we will offer necessarily, aside from getting some sort of audio file in there to measure it.
It's, you know what, and I think, Derek, I think people understate the complexity of bass in that delivery. If you remember in LA, listen, let me tell you, a group of intelligent people were the sound engineers that were working in
Yes.
there. If I tell you they can, I'm probably oversharing, but whatever, I always do. They use the most random things to help control audio. There was a box of crackers that was positioned on a counter, and I went to move it. They're like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, I just want a cracker, dude. They're Ritz. They look good. Oh, wow. I said a brand. Anyway, and they're like, no, bean bags placed on the floor. It was insane when you have that level of tuning ability. So I guess I'm saying all that to say that sometimes adding, like you said, bass traps, adding enhancements to a space sometimes can give you a better result of what you're looking for rather than just placement on its own. Now, I will leave you with this. I don't know if it's true or false, but really, really tall, really smart guy that we have had a chance to work with in the past once told me, when you're placing your subwoofer, make sure that it is an odd number of inches off of the wall. I have no idea if he had a few too many at center bar that night when he said that. But to this day, when I set my subs, I grab the tape measure out. I'm like, 3 inches. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Good.
So anyway.
Yeah, I think ultimately it depends on the frequency, because that'll going into physics, which I find interesting, is how those waves can actually reflect and where that reflection point is, and then how it would then kind of band in with other waves. Anyway, that's the whole thing. All right, let's move on. Luca already had a great answer. I need to start looking further down here. I'm trying to catch up, but Luca had a great answer. So thank you, Luca. I appreciate it. Coffee has a question. Why price the Bravia 3 so high, considering no FALD, mini LED, or 120 hertz? Is the Sony tax for processing worth it compared to Hisense or TCL? Interesting. A lot of buzzwords in that one.
I have seen
a good question.
That TV. So that's a great question, right? Because it's very deceptive when you go into a retail store where everyone spends $1.5 million on content to be able to showcase their product in the best way possible. Now, I have seen a side-by-side out of the box, not saying the brands, but whatever, with actual broadcast content. And I will tell you the number one thing that falls apart: motion. Motion is something that mini LED hardware and quantum dot layers, it just can't handle it, right? So when you ask about, if you ask about it, is the processor, the Sony processor, worth it? It just depends. How annoying is poor motion to you? Because motion to me is the most distracting thing. Color is subjective. Brightness level depends on room and viewing environment, things of that nature. But motion, I don't care if you're watching black and white, color, daytime or nighttime. If motion is horrendous, especially with content that I watch, action, movie, and sports, I would pay the extra $100 or $150 to have that. That's just my personal take, and this is not me wearing my Sony hat. That's just my take.
That works. Yeah, I think that is one of the things that and I would say this to anybody. When it comes to shopping for a TV, it is difficult. You really do have to see them. Sometimes it is very hard to actually compare the same content in different TVs in retail, unfortunately. I know this is something when I was in retail, and this is going back a long time ago, we had a room where we didn't have to play the in-store feed, so we were able to play whatever we wanted. And we often had sports on Sunday when we could. just so people could accurately say, okay, this is this, this is this, this is this. They're playing the same thing. We show them they're all in the same settings. That's the one I like the best. I could buy it. Fortunately, it's not really like that now because, like Larry said, there's all this like prepared content, and we do it too. Everybody does it, but make sure you're trying to test those out to the best of your ability. But ultimately, it does come down to the processing. And I'm not a fan of the Sony tax term. To be fair, you see people say it. That's okay. I was in a store recently, and somebody mentioned that, and I was like, you know what? Let me just show you. And I showed them what we do without trying to sell it. I don't believe in trying to sell. I believe in educating and letting them kind of make the decision. I was very pleasantly surprised with what we could do and kind of understood, oh, when you actually compare these things in picture quality, guys aren't like Sony tax expensive. So, but it is perception. So it's a fair question. And that would be one of those things I wish we had a chance to talk in person about that. That'd be cool. All right, let's I'm going to address a couple of questions, hopefully with one thing. I'm actually looking for it now. Vedant, hopefully I'm saying that right. Couple of questions. Support for the A95L with, let me see, what was it? Bravia Connect app. There's a Voice Zoom 3. Yes. Okay. I was like, where did those questions go? So that was, let's see, I'm actually looking now because I think you asked if it was released in India. It looks like interesting. Okay. I am on the website now. Here's what I'll say, just to make sure I am looking at the correct thing. If you go to Sony support in your local region and look at firmware and software updates, I am seeing, if I'm seeing this correctly, firmware update for Asia Pacific, the date is literally yesterday. Is what I'm seeing. So, and it does actually list on here, supports Voice M3 on the TV, supports Bravia Connect app, version 3.0 only, or higher, I should say. Prime Video calibrated mode, so multi-game, multi-view screen size, all that stuff. So you might want to check because it should be coming. Sometimes they roll these out like OTA, over the air, if you will, in stages. So sometimes it might not hit everybody all at once, but looks like it's coming. So, you know, I'm kind of curious. I'm going to take a peek. Oh, is it? That's what I looked up when I went to Sony India.
Okay, yeah.
When I looked it up. Larry, do you want to check a couple of other questions, see if you can catch us up? I'm going to check on something really quick. If you're okay with that?
Sure. Oh, man, yeah. I saw a couple that I wanted to touch on as soon as I can find that screen that has the questions on there. There we go. Where was it? This is what happens when I have TV scrolling the comments and then plus the computer. Here we go. All right. Price drops, a lot of that stuff at the last second about that. Michael Beckerman mentioned AR is clearly the future of home theater. Are we going to see a Sony set of AR glasses soon, perhaps? Could this be demoed at CES 2025? Literally not authorized to speak about any future or unannounced products. No kidding. Have no idea. I Michael, we don't know yet, right? And they are probably very smart to not let me know. I have no idea. I know, here I go. I know many, many moons ago, and John, you guys can't hear John, but John, you may remember this. There was a global soccer event, so that I protect branding. There was a global soccer event that happened in South America where we were testing 3D whatever capture for broadcast, but that may have gave way to our 3D spatial whatever screen. God, I'm butchering our tech display, spatial display. Thank you. That may have given way to that, but we're always testing on what's next. We are the problem with Sony, not the problem with Sony, but the thing that we found, historically speaking, is from an innovation standpoint, we are always ahead of the curve. Oftentimes in the past, we've gone to market way too soon because our ability to engineer and innovate is so much faster and to such a higher level than other companies. If you think about when we first introduced streaming games, which was that PSP? What was that didn't have physical media? John, do you remember? PSP Go, I think. Yeah, it freaked everybody out when we came out with the PSP Go. Like, oh no, I have to have a disc, and everyone freaked out. And look at where we are right now, right? So it's again, if PSP Go came out right now, it would be an absolute game changer. It would, well, it's essentially there's kind of a version of it, but anyway, it'd be an absolute game changer. And that was 2010, 9. Like, think about this, 15 years ago. Yeah, when we were doing it. So whatever it is, Michael, just it's a long-winded way of saying whatever the future is holds, you better believe we're in the lab cooking it up right now. It's just a matter of two things. The technology being there and scalable, and whether or not from a cost standpoint, the consumers are it's acceptable for the consumers. So that's my 2 cents. Smartwatch, absolutely. What was the Xperia Game phone? What was that called? Didn't we have what was that? No, we had a PlayStation phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Internet communicator, right? Yeah. PlayStation
phone
was like.
Can I jump in?
I was just
something really sorry. No, it's bypassing, but I have to be out of the door in 3 minutes to get my daughter.
Oh, then we need a wrap then, yeah, because my camera's gonna fail. So
she's gonna be dropped off from the bus, and I have to be out there to get her. So yeah, I don't know. Let's do like a couple of very quick hits. I did see something about Dolby Vision on the A95L without support of PS5 having Dolby Vision. That's okay. It's for all those other services that can take advantage of it. There's some other ones I would love to address, but I don't have quick answers for. Yeah. I would love to stay. Joey B, what's up, dude? Good to have you back as well.
Is it possible to simultaneously connect 2 pairs of XM5 to a Sony TV? Answer is no. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but 2 Bravia theater use absolutely can, as long as it's A95L, Bravia 7, Bravia 8, or Bravia 9. Derek does have a video on that.
I do. Yeah, so check it out. It is on the Sony Connect channel. If we didn't answer your question, please do us a favor if you could. If it's like a big deal to you, I'm not going to make you do it, of course. Put it in the comments after or send us an email. I definitely would love to answer everybody's question, but I have to get out there now because she came early a couple days ago and it was awkward. So I got to be ready for her. So we'll wrap up. Thank you all for being here. Join us next time, please. Thank you all so much for being here. Please like, please subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff to let our bosses know that you guys want us to continue doing this. We only planned for half an hour. We went an hour and 10, which is great. But I got to get out of here. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Be well, be safe. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace.